If someone told you that the world was ending tomorrow, you would probably think they were a bit of a nutcase. However, while we don't think the apocalypse will be upon us today, next week, or even next month, there are a number of realistic scenarios which predict that the world could end a lot sooner than you'd think. So we're going to check out the top ways the world could end on this episode of Super Freaky Science. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get all the latest. Given recent events, the dangers and catastrophic consequences that a global pandemic can cause has been at the forefront of everyone's mind. Granted, most scientists wouldn't say that it is very likely that COVID-19 would ever wipe out humanity, it still brings up the question. Could it ever happen? Well, considering what has happened with past pandemics, the possibility isn't that far-fetched. When it comes down to it, it's a matter of how quickly a vaccine can be created. For example, smallpox has historically ravaged the human population. It's estimated to have killed 500 million people in its last 100 years of existence. And yet we know of 0 cases today thanks to the vaccine. But if a disease as deadly and contagious as smallpox were to show up in today's world, it would be a different ballgame. With the level of connectivity we have due to mass travel capabilities, diseases can spread around the globe faster than ever before in human history. If a virus were to pop up that had the right mix of contagiousness and deadliness, it would be one scary ride for humanity. This entry is especially scary because asteroids have hit the Earth before. In fact, it was an asteroid that landed in the Yucatan Peninsula about 65 million years ago that led to the mass extinction of the dinosaurs. However, the chances of space rocks hitting the Earth really depends on their size. And generally, the larger the rock, the less likely it is to hit Earth. Luckily for us humans, asteroids large enough to significantly impact the Earth's climate and biosphere usually only collide with Earth once every few 100,000 years. However, there are a number of possible methods to derail an incoming asteroid, such as hitting it with a nuclear missile or using a gravity tractor probe to pull it off orbit. Therefore, as long as no large asteroids suddenly change their trajectory, we should have nothing to fear. The magma, lava, and ash that comes out of a volcano is nothing short of terrifying. Yet in most cases, the effects of volcanic eruptions, which are measured using the Volcanic Explosivity Index or VEI scale, are rather small. However, the Yellowstone National Park's supervolcano could totally change this narrative. This is because if it were to erupt in a familiar fashion to its last eruption 664,000 years ago, scientists estimate that it would throw out about 1,000 cubic kilometers of ash. In other words, enough ash to bury Texas 5 times over. However, beyond the ash, such an eruption would greatly affect the world's climate, as it would temporarily block out the sun and create years of prolonged winters. This would be especially concerning because it would cause widespread crop failures and famines. Thus, if the combined immediate and residual effects of a volcanic eruption were severe enough, it could lead to a truly apocalyptic event. While aliens may be the subject of countless sci-fi movies and conspiracy theories, if they truly do exist, their cultural impact could be astounding. Now, it would be safe to assume that alien life forms would be more intelligent than ourselves, as they would be crossing the intergalactic threshold to meet us, rather than us meeting them. Therefore, if these aliens are hostile, they would likely act as colonizers. Similarly, if they are friendly, they would act as allies. In either scenario, pandemonium could ensue if the aliens had too large of an impact. And whether that impact is to grant us technology that would make our biosphere unstable, or taking over the world and then wiping out humanity. In either case, the planet would likely meet its demise. While this possibility may also sound straight out of a sci-fi movie, perhaps Transformers and iRobot are really not too far off from reality. With robots expected to be as intelligent as humans by the year 2040, there's a real possibility that they could find ways to sabotage humanity. After all, while robots may not yet have any emotional intelligence, what they do have is a strong rational ability. In very simple terms, this would mean that they could understand the concept of gaining power to collect resources, and therefore could potentially have the desire to overtake their human counterparts. It's actually inevitable that the Earth's magnetic field will shift sometime in the future. In fact, the North Pole has shifted an average of 55 kilometers annually since the mid-1990s, up from the 15 kilometers it was shifting annually beforehand. What's more, the Earth's magnetic field is also weakening by about 0.07% per year. In tandem, these two effects could cause a decrease in shielding against threats such as solar winds and cosmic rays. While this may not seem like an existential crisis, if a large solar flare were to come our way, this weakened protection could lead to widespread catastrophe. In fact, this was almost the case in 2012. Scientists hypothesized that if a solar flare had happened on July 16th rather than July 23rd like it did, our world would have completely lost all electrical power and GPS signals. If this were to have occurred, the fallout, be it from nuclear reactors or widespread pandemonium, could have easily led to our world's demise. While there are a number of theories as to how a particle accelerator could destroy Earth, the most plausible is via the creation of strangelets. Strangelets are hypothetical particles consisting of up, down, and strange quarks. Some hypotheses suggest that strangelet production could ignite a chain reaction, converting everything on our planet into strange matter, effectively turning the Earth into a tiny ball of weird particles. As of now, no particle accelerators on Earth have created any strangelets, thankfully. However, if the strangelet hypotheses are true, then there is a potential that their future creation could lead to some Earth-shattering damage. It is now considered an undeniable fact that global warming is occurring, and unfortunately, the probability that the global warming situation is an existential crisis is extremely high. This is because when the Earth warms due to the effect of greenhouse gases, there's a feedback loop that exacerbates the original effect exponentially. And whether that means widespread droughts, high sea levels, toxic air, or worldwide ecosystem destruction, these factors in tandem could all lead to Earth becoming inhospitable. If this were to occur, the widespread chaos, wars, and deaths that occur could easily signal the end of the world. Therefore, unless there is a significant change in carbon emissions extremely soon, by as early as 2100, we could have a world that is completely in ruins. Although you would hope that humanity learned its lesson via the horrible Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, nuclear war is unfortunately still a very real threat. Unfortunately, while nuclear weapon counts have decreased since the Cold War era, the weapons that are at the ready are much stronger than their World War II counterparts. To put this into perspective, the largest nuclear bomb to ever be detonated, the Tsar Bomba, came in at a massive 50 megatons of force, which is about 3,000 times stronger than the Little Boy bomb dropped on Hiroshima. However, considering that this bomb was dropped in 1961, it is obvious that a nuclear war today would be chock full of bombs even stronger than this one. While this may be a scary thought, there is little to fear so long as international politics remain stable. However, with Russia and China's relationship with the US more tense than ever, the world's biggest nuclear powers could be at odds with each other. And on a lighter note, we'd like to thank you for watching Super Freaky Science, and don't forget to subscribe.